everybody, this is Georgia Jaguar, Stampin' Georgia here, stampingeorgia.com, coming to you from my Stampin' Studio, and I'm really excited to share an idea with you, that was shared with me by a team member, Christine Pierce, and it's got this fun half front, kind of like a Dutch door. Anyway, I'm going to share how the cutting on that goes so that you can make some too. So come on, let's get started. So here's the card again, and you can see this fun half front on this card, kind of Dutch door style. And so I'm going to show you how to do that first. What's really cool though, for this card I've used the Petal palette bundle, which is just a beautiful bundle of stamps. This Petal palette stamp set, along with the Petals and More dies. And these are the ones I didn't use. Get a good look at that. But it comes with a beautiful variety of some that match stamps that are in the stamp set, and some that are standalone. For instance, this framelit that actually will frame all of the greetings in that stamp set, all of the single word or long ones, and then like this beautiful branch and these flowers, those are all standalone. They don't necessarily match a stamp in the stamp set. So I think that's really cool. So you have lots of ways to use that, and you'll see the ones that I used with this in a second. So I'm starting with half a sheet of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5. And we're going to put it in our paper trimmer, Stampin' Trimmer, and I want the long edge, the 8.5-inch edge along the top. Scoring it in half would be at 4 1/4 for half of our 8.5. So I'm going to score lightly. The reason I score lightly is because it makes it easier to cut, because I'm going to cut right on that fold line. And then I'm going to show you, and a good way to help be able to see our numbers under is to put a piece of white or neutral cardstock, lighter cardstock underneath there, so that you can actually see where you're cutting. I want my arrow right at the 2.5, and I'm going to cut up on my score line. I'll move that. Then the next one is really quite easy because we're going to turn it, and again I cut it down to 2.5, so I'm going to put my edge of my cardstock on the 2.5, and then this one now I'll just cut down to that score line and where I previously cut, and there I have it. Now I can just fold that flap in, and I've got the front of my card. So we're just going to score that well. Add a piece of designer paper. It's just going to have an 1/8-inch border all the way around. This is also the coordinating designer paper that goes with that suite of products. I believe it's called, goodness, I'm drawing a blank, but I will tell you what that is in a second. So we're going to add that on the bottom. Sometimes it's hard with this one to know which side to use. There's floral on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and put the insert inside of my card, and that was a 4 by 5 1/4. So again, we leave that same border around the edge. Just want to get it straight. So now I have my card base all ready to go. I previously did some stamping and cutting for you so that we'd save some time, and we're going to, as you can see, always stamp first because you may have to flip your paper over. Happens often with me. I just made the next piece just 1/8 of an inch larger, so I don't have a real big border, but yet that red shows up nicely. Add that to a piece of black, same size border, just 1/8 of an inch bigger. So now I have this that I can add to the front of my card, and dimensionals here. And we're going to only adhere the bottom of the card. because I don't want to glue it shut with my dimensionals. Now I can position that with equal border around up here. And the original card was made with a white accent. This pretty lattice piece, that die is in that set of Thinlits, the Petals and More. See that I just cut it out ahead of time. But that black piece that I cut off, I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna take and cut one out of that and see what it looks like with a black one. And my favorite way to adhere these delicate pieces is to use the Tombow liquid glue. And I am just going to add, I use my silicone mat underneath. That's kind of a little tip so you don't end up getting glue on your work surface, because whenever that happens, we end up getting glue on our project. And so I don't need this. A little of this goes a long way. You can just see. And the reason I'm using the silicone mat is if I tend to have more adhesive or miss, it's just going to go on the silicone mat, which is really easy to wipe off and dry. So I'm going to put that across. And then I stamped on shimmery white cardstock because I love the effect of the shimmer, but I colored with the Stampin' Blends alcohol markers, and you definitely can move the color really nicely on the shimmery white cardstock. It's a little sturdier than just the regular vanilla. You can see it does bleed through, so you get plenty of color with the alcohol markers. I just did that ahead of time and cut it out with the coordinating framelit to that image. So really nice that you know fussy cutting is necessary. I'm going to just put that on top with the dimensionals. And I'll let you decide black or white accent. I like both. It's kind of fun to discover and change things up. That's what stamping is all about. I hope you like this idea, this fun fold and cut idea for a new front of a card. Hope you'll give it a try. Thanks for stopping by.